2021, a total of 3 million, or rather more than 3 million vaccines had already been administered across the country. Now, of this, the total first doses were 2,934,734, while the second doses were 926,337. Now, the uptake of the second dose among those who received the first dose was at 31.6%. Now, we spoke to Dr. Robert Lagat to try and make sense on why this, on the positivity rate in the country, and also what the super spreader events mean for the strides that we are making against COVID-19. Now, I leave you with that interview. I sign out. My name is Brian Amoy. Dr. Robert, for granting us this opportunity to just make sense of the issues happening in the country right now when it comes to COVID-19. So, Dr. Right now, we've recorded a 4.6 positivity rate. What does that mean?
Yeah, what it means is the number of new infections that we are getting at the moment is going down. Mm-hmm. And when we look at the last 3 weeks, we have had the infections falling down by 300 as compared to when we were at the peak. It's like 23% reduction in the number of new infections that we are getting. So it means the measures that the government has put in place are working. One of them is in terms of, maintaining the social distancing, sanitizing, and also the impact of the vaccination. We have seen that at the moment that we have vaccinated around 3.6% of the eligible population. So that has really reduced the number of infections in the country.
Now, Dr. when we talk about the measures that the government has put in place when it comes to matters social distancing, yet we are seeing political leaders or just rallies being held every day, and they have so many people there and there's no social distancing. What does that pose to the strides we are making when it comes to the recording a good positivity rate?
Yes, that is really a challenge that we are facing as a country. The government and the Ministry of Health guidelines have come up with there should be no public, engagement or rallies. But again, still we are seeing the politicians going ahead to have these rallies. The only thing that might explain, the low positivity despite these rallies is these rallies are open in the open. So again, the transmission rate when you are in the open is significantly low as compared to when you are indoors. So things like, the charges where, we try to tell them not to attend is because, that is indoors. Okay. And the transmission rate when you are indoors is quite high. So the public rallies, yes, we are seeing them. The numbers are quite high. But again, they're in the open, and in most cases, they don't, last for long. So if the interaction of this gathering, lasts not less than, 10 minutes or 20 minutes or so, then again, the rate of transmission is reduced.
Oh, so these public rallies are not as threatening as we might assume?
Yes, we try as much as possible to discourage that. But again, when you look at, the dynamics of the transmission, most transmission occurs when there is that close contact for more than, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And again, within, enclosed area where there is no proper circulation. So the rallies, again, still plays a role. But I think it's very difficult, politicians that, they are aware of these rallies are banned. Okay. But again, they still go ahead.
Okay, then what should be the people's responsibility when it comes to, maintaining this positivity rate that we are currently seeing? And if at all we continue like this, are we looking at, recording probably higher numbers of cases? What are we looking at?
Yes, we are worried. There are, discussions ongoing showing that we might have a fifth wave. Again, if the population, continues to have these public rallies, seeing people, going for, barriers in high numbers, attending judges and without, proper Ministry of Health. So it's like the people have kind of relaxed because of the positivity rate going down. But again, we are not off the hook. We are still in the hooks with the COVID-19 pandemic, so people should still maintain social distancing, sanitize, avoid gatherings, public gatherings that may endanger them, especially those that are enclosed. And again, lastly, people need to go for vaccination.
Okay.
The government has really increased the vaccination rate. We see now everybody is allowed to take the vaccine so long as they're 18 and above. And the government has increased the vaccination centers. We see they are doing the vaccination in the churches, they are doing the vaccination in companies. So, again, people should go for the vaccines if they are eligible.
Okay. Now, talking about the vaccines, we've just received syringes or to administer Pfizer vaccines in the country right now. And I'd like to, because some people, there are those doses of vaccines that we had received earlier, the people that took probably Johnson & Johnson, those that is one dose, and there are those that took Moderna, AstraZeneca, there are those that took Pfizer. What happens when we are in that process where you are up for the second dose, but probably the vaccine that you took is not available at the moment?
Yes, so we try, I've seen the ministry have encouraged that if you get the first dose of AstraZeneca, you should get the second dose of AstraZeneca. For Johnson & Johnson is one dose, that is good. For Moderna and Pfizer, I think the government are trying as much as possible so that once you get the first dose of that vaccine, you get the same type of the vaccine for the second dose. As concerning your question in terms of looking at the mix and match, if you miss the first dose and you are due for the second dose, would you get another type of the vaccine? What it means is, again, they have, extended the second dosage. So initially, you get the first dose, you need to get the second in 2 months or 3 months. What they have done is they have also increased. So if you are missing AstraZeneca, the second dose, and you are due probably within 2 months or 3 months, the government can, put you to wait in a waiting list as they expect more of AstraZeneca. But in most cases, because at the moment I have not seen the government advocating for mix and match. I think individuals will now, or the government is putting measures in place to ensure that if they have administered 100,000 for first dose, they should put aside 100,000 for the second dose for the same type of vaccine.
All right. Now, Dr. Ali, as we wind up on this one, I just want to look at the rate at the uptake of the second dose of the vaccines. I think we are about 30% or something like that. What about the messaging has changed when it comes to just advocating for the uptake of the second dose of the vaccines, considering the fact that earlier the people that are taking the first dose were very hesitant when it comes to taking the second dose?
I think the messaging has been on quite high in terms of the government and quite clear. People are quite hesitant in getting the first dose, but I've seen in most cases the second dose, even though the uptake is quite low, it's not really about the individuals, failing to go for the second dose. It has been on, the doses are not available. So once the second dose is available, I've seen most people going for the vaccine. And again, the message is reaching home that this is quite important. The vaccination is happening. Initially, we had issues. People are worried when you get the vaccine, this will happen, you get this side effect, some of them hospitalization or death. But those have been specified later by, the scientists, by various groups, including the ministries. And now we are seeing good uptake for the vaccine.
Wow, so that's a positive thing, right? That's we might actually get to see, probably kick this out forever in the coming days.
Yeah. That is our hope. And again, we are getting a lot of vaccines through the COVAX facility and also from individual countries. At the moment, I think we have received almost 7 million vaccines, and we are getting more. So the government are really, enhancing the uptake of the vaccines with a target of 10 million, vaccination by end of this year, which is very good. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. I don't know if you're in a position to answer this one, but now when it comes to probably the lessons that we are learning from this one and just the manufacturing of vaccines, should we be in a position probably drafting a way in whereby as a country we can actually be, manufacturing our own vaccines and not have to depend on donations?
Yeah, in terms of the manufacturing, it requires a lot of resources.
Okay.
So at the moment, I think it's a discussion that is ongoing in terms of the actual manufacturing requires a lot of resources.
Okay.
We need the skill power. We need the resource. Designing the vaccine, these vaccines, all the pipeline from the preclinical all the way to clinical trials. So for that, it requires a lot of resources in terms of money. And again, the difficult part of manufacturing a vaccine is ingredients. So that is something that we see even when, the facility in India, they came as course of very, lack of agents. So you may have the facilities, but again, the components of discussion, we can start now, but that is something in the long.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay.